Okay, I've been to Warwick Castle yesterday, and now I've been to Clacton.
So was Mubby working? Is that why
No.
you went so late?
No, it's one of those things where we just do it out of the blue.
Oh,
We decide. I know.
What time did you leave?
Half 12.
You left at 12:30. You arrived at 3:30.
I left about 6. So it wasn't bad. Like I got home about.
But what did you do
10
there?
past. We went on the beach a little bit for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then we went to the arcades, and then they got these little roller coaster things as well.
You know, today was a really nice day. If you'd gone 3 hours earlier, you'd have had a pleasant afternoon.
But it's one of those things where we had swimming, and then out of the blue, we need to get to the beach. I'm like, it's a bit late for that, don't you think? No, we need to go now. I'm like, oh man, please. Let's not talk about it. Certain people can hear.
Oh, you don't want me to put that in the podcast then?
I don't mind that, but I'm just worried about because that some person doesn't watch said podcast, but she can hear that. She won't be happy. What are you saying about it? Oh man, I am tired a little bit. But I'll tell you what, I was really happy. We watched 2 episodes this week of Severance.
Yep.
Episode 6 and 7, is it?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed
7 and 8.
Sorry, 7 and 8. Okay, I really enjoyed episode 7, but I really hated episode 8.
Okay.
At first, I was like, episode 7. So it's more of we see from the previous episode that Mark has like collapsed from having that procedure done to him. What is it? Reintegration.
Yep.
They call it, but it's more of an episode of his wife, Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. What's her name? Sorry, what's her wife's name?
Yeah, Tommy.
Mark's wife.
What's his wife's name?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
His wife's name is Gemma Scout.
Gemma, sorry. That's
and
right.
we know
Gemma.
her as Miss Casey or Ms. Casey on the Severance floor.
So we get a lot of flashbacks between Mark and Gemma and how they met. And Mark was like, he looks like a totally different guy. He has a different kind of beard hairstyle. His hair's a little bit different. He looks a little bit more confident in himself.
It's not that he's more confident in himself. He's not a grieving widower.
Well,
he's enjoying himself. He's enjoying time with Devin and Rickon. You know, it seems like the 4 of them actually enjoy spending a lot of time together. We see a lot that a lot of this episode comes around the fact that they are also trying for a child.
Yeah, and they're having not any luck with that.
No, well, there was one point where she was actually pregnant, but unfortunately she miscarried that child. And then they later seek out IVF, whatever that looks like in this universe, but that doesn't work out either.
Yeah, and then Gemma's like, she's like going off and doing her own little thing while Mark is stuck at home.
Well, she just went to go see her friends.
Yeah, but it's not really good. That's the start of bad things, I suppose. When your wife is going out without you, you just left at home. I'll be like, oh, you're going without me? But it was his choice, to be fair. He said, no, I'm okay. Because I think he was asking who's going to be there. And I don't think he was happy with, he was like, nah, forget it. I don't really want to go there. Someone's doing this silly thing.
Yeah, and then unfortunately it turns out that's the night where Gemma supposedly dies.
Yeah, because the police turn up and then we're expecting them to say, well, yeah, because we've been told that she dies. But then we see she's actually like doing some sort of like, so she looks like she's part of the Severance program as well.
She is, but she's on a different level, both physically and figuratively. So season 1 has referred to the testing floor in the past. So it seems like she's a level below the Severance employees, but also on an entirely other level, because whereas Mark is severed once, or, you know, he has his work life and his outie life, Gemma is going through tens, probably not hundreds, but she's going through a lot of doors, lots of different doors. And each of these doors have different scenarios, and each of the doors, she only exists for that door, if that makes sense. So one of them is writing Christmas cards, and that version of her only knows writing Christmas cards. Another version is going to the dentist, and that version of her only understands going to the dentist. They don't remember each other outside, and outside doesn't remember her. So she is like, I don't know if she's like an original guinea pig. I don't think she's original, but she's being heavily tested in ways that the other guys aren't being tested.
Did you think it was funny that? Well, did you think? Did you know the actor that played that weird guy with a voice, and he's like a doctor scientist guy? I swear that's the guy from Half-Life.
I've not played Half-Life.
Yeah, his voice is very distinct, and he has his facial figures matches the G-Man in Half-Life. So I am 80% sure it's got to be him. The way he was talking is like, understand you are Tess. Just the way he was performing, I was like, yeah, that's the guy from Half-Life. I didn't realize he was still around. He sounded old back then, and that was like 30 years ago, or 25 years ago, I suppose.
I mean, he's not credited in Half-Life.
Oh, isn't he?
No, he's credited in Kingdom Hearts and a few other Disney things, but there's no Half-Life there.
Oh, I swear that's the guy.
Well, maybe it is, but he's just uncredited. I mean, that's only Wikipedia. I'm not looking at IMDb. But did you notice that he was the same?
He was really creepy.
He was the same in all of the rooms. So the dentist, the husband... What other rooms were there?
Doing the cards.
Yeah, the husband in the cards. I'm sure there was more than the 2 rooms. And then he came to see the outie version of her as well, in a really creepy way, in her sort of like cell/bedroom.
I was under the impression that Gemma's like volunteered to do these tests, but then she's like, I want to leave now. This has been going for... There's like a version of her who's actually an outie, but she's actually stuck in there instead of being allowed to just go home and do whatever she wants to do, like Mark can and the rest can.
Well, yeah, we met her. We met the outie version of Gemma. You know, the version of her that hit Dr. Mauer over the head with a chair?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's her. Yeah, that's the outie version of it. That's her. As
I doubt she volunteered for this. I feel like she was body snatched from the hospital or the mortuary.
The way she's like, can we just stop doing this now? Do I have to keep doing it? Surely that means like maybe at one point she was okay with it, but now she's fed up with it. Instead of being like, get away from me! I don't want to do this anymore. You do this. Why are you making me do this?
I don't think she volunteered at any point. I think she probably woke up from a coma. Maybe they kind of like, oh, you know, we saved you when the hospital couldn't. We have expert life-saving medical facilities, and as repayment for this free medical care, could you do some experiments for us, or you will do some experiments for us? So I don't think she volunteered for this at all. I think she genuinely had a car crash, and I think she was body snatched in some way.
And then she does, like you say, she hit the scientist over the head with a chair, and she runs out the building, manages to get through the lift. But then when she gets to that door, it was kind of weird. Yeah, she got out and she starts getting to the door, and then she opens the door, and then
well, she emerges as Miss Casey on the Severance floor.
Oh yeah,
that's
Milchek is like, oh, Miss Casey.
You have accidentally wandered in from an art exhibition on the top floor, just making something up.
But he must have ran like a madman to get there.
I mean, he was out of breath. He was still wearing his jacket.
But how did he know that she was coming to the Severance floor?
Because
he must have had 10 seconds.
Yeah, but that lady knew she was... she called out to her. She knew she got into the lift, and that lift only goes to one place, so she obviously called up and let him know.
I suppose, you get in a lift, that takes 10 seconds, then it takes an extra 15 seconds to run through that massive hallway, so it gives him about 25 seconds. So he must have ran from his office to get there.
Yep. Ran like bat out of hell.
But it was quite funny, but yeah, she goes back, and then the outie's like, no, what's going on? And then they all surround her, and that's the last we see of her for now. So they've taken her away somewhere, put her under more restraints probably. But then we get... So Mark is still having his fit, isn't he? And what's her name? Rebecca? How'd you say it? Regabi says like, "Oh no, that's fine. She's fine. Sorry, she's fine. He's fine. He's just sleeping. He just needs sleep." And then the sister's like, "Oh, this ain't normal. This ain't right." And she decides like, "I think we need to maybe call Miss Corbell." And then I can't say that word. Rogubavi. It's like, I'm getting the out of here. What the hell? I thought she was really bad as well. The acting for that lady, Rogubavi, I can't say it. Her acting was terrible. She was like, the way she was like, just getting like, shouting her lines and getting very frustrated very quickly.
Well, that'd be how she was directed to play that part.
I don't know. It just something seemed off with that. I was like, it just didn't feel natural. If you know what I mean. She was like screaming.
Well, it's
shouting.
not natural.
Well, what I'm trying to say is just something just fell a bit off with her performance.
But don't think about the performance. Think about what's happening in that scene. Like, she's been running underground and she's constantly aware that Lumen are onto her, and suddenly she's got this, Devon's about to ring the one person who's got all the ties at Lumen. I mean, don't forget, she killed someone from Lumen in the season 1. She killed that security guy. I think that's a perfectly reasonable response to someone who is about to call someone from Lumen.
Yeah, but if you're in that situation and say like you have a sister or a brother who is dying, what would you not call someone that potentially knows this issue, even if they are part of Lumen? And it's like, well, what have you done here? This is all messed up.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about Regabi, not Devon.
No, I'm talking about Devon. Like, Devon, I thought I had the right to do that. Like, it's
and Regabi has the right to say, if you're doing that, I'm not being involved because it's too dangerous for her. So of course she's going to respond the way she did.
But yeah, I enjoyed that episode a lot. But the next episode 8, I absolutely just hated.
Why?
Because it was just about Miss Cobell.
Yeah.
And it was just her, and basically she's in like a diner, and she was asking for like help, and the people that she was asking help for were like, well, why should we give you any help? You've been quite, nasty. And then she's like, well, are you going to give me help anyway, even if I've been nasty? And I was like, well, yeah. It just didn't make any sense.
Did you get who he was?
No, go on.
Well, they were like best friends in school.
Okay.
He's from Lumen. Basically, what we find out in this episode is that where she's gone to is a place called Salt Neck, which is a small town, and this is where there was a factory, and in the factory they made this ether drug or medicine or something. And there's a school nearby. I mean, I think his name was Hampton. I want to say it's Hampton or Compton or something like that. They worked at Lumen, and he referred to it as child slavery. She doesn't. I don't know exactly what they were doing, but maybe it's like they went to school, and a little bit like prison forced labour, they also did work in the factory as well or something. So, but when they were there together, he and Harmony were best friends. Potentially they shared some history together because there was that weird kiss later on. So maybe they'd had romance in the past or something. But, I mean, this episode is supposed to be stark and cold and weird because we're starting to dive deep into more of the history of the Lumen the Lumen Company and the Egan philosophy. So it's not an episode to enjoy. Like the previous episode, yeah, it was really enjoyable because we got to see the life of Mark and Gemma, and as sad as it ended up being, it's for this TV show, it was really normal. But this episode is incredibly abnormal. It's bizarre.
I just didn't like the fact that Gemma was Miss Cabell keeps shouting at that old lady.
Yeah.
Let me into the room. Let me into the room. It's as much as
Do you know who the old lady is?
I'm guessing it wasn't her mother.
No, it wasn't her mother. It's probably her aunt.
Aunt, yeah.
Because we were trying to work out, it's not her mum. The age difference is too much for her sister.
It's her mum's sister. Yeah. Yeah.
But she's like raw emotion at this point, and that's, that can bring out...
Yeah, she was acting a bit crazy as well. Like, I was like, why do you keep screaming? She was like screaming.
Because she's a crazy woman. I mean, look at how she nearly ran Mark over in, the last time we saw her.
But eventually she manages to get in, and she finds that yearbook and the sketches of the severance procedure and the chip. And that kind of just reveals that she was the true inventor of it. I'm guessing the mother.
What? The mum?
Is it the mother?
No, Harmony was.
Who? Or Harmony?
Yeah.
The aunt?
No, Harmony. Do you know
sorry,
who
Harmony.
anyone is in this TV show?
You mean
Right.
Mr.
Right,
Bell?
let me just tell you. Right.
You mean Mr. Cabal?
Right. Harmony's mum.
I don't like using first names and surnames together. Like you either say the first name or the second name.
Right, but there's 3 Cabels here. You've got Harmony Cabell, you've got Charlotte Cabell, and you've got Sissy Cabell. So if I say Cabell, that could be any one of these 3 people.
That's true. That is true. There's too many people. Too many Cabals.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Right, so her mum died from working in the factory, breathed in too much ether, and she, had respiratory disease, and she died. Her mum's sister, her aunt, potentially killed her mum, or potentially her mum committed suicide. Don't know. And then Harmony, Miss Cabell or Mrs. Selvig, she, at Lumen, she knew James. Do you remember James Egan?
Yes.
Who's he? Who is he? You just said yes, didn't you?
I did. Hold on, it's coming.
He is Helena's father, and he is the owner of the company.
He's the main guy, yeah.
Yes. the weird old guy who came to talk to her in a toilet.
Yes, the white hair guy. You got white hair? Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, the current person in charge of Lumen. So James and Harmony knew each other when they were both younger, and she came up with this idea. Maybe they worked together on it. He took the credit for it. The reason she went back to Salt Neck is because she had the original plans she had the proof of the fact that she came up with the program. And I just want to say, in our season 1 episode, I almost said maybe she came up with the Severance program, but I walked it back. I walked it back to saying, oh, she didn't come up with it, but maybe she did all the hard legwork for running the floor. But no, I'm kind of annoyed at myself for walking that back. I almost had a good prediction. But no, she's not an office manager. She's like a scientist or something. And I mean, Jen pointed out that's how she so easily managed to remove the chip at the Severance chip at that funeral, at PT's funeral, because she knew the location of it. She knew where it'd be. She knew how to extract it because it's her own program. Now, she went back to get this evidence that James didn't come up with the system and she did. I'm not sure what she's going to do with it. I'm unsure at this moment what she thinks of Lumen. I don't know if she's pro-Lumen, anti-Lumen. Potentially she's pro-Kia Egan, but anti-Lumen, if that makes sense. So she's still into all the philosophy, that the religious side, but she's not in, she thinks Lumen is being mismanaged and ran wrong. Or it might be that she hates everything, but I'm not really sure. We know that Devon's been trying to call her all throughout this episode, and then she learns that at the end of the episode that Mark has reintegrated. And it seems like she might be about to go and help them to stabilize him. But what I don't know is whether she will try to overthrow anyone at Lumen, or whether she will turn Mark in. It's hard to say at this point.
Well, I'm guessing at first we just thought, oh, she's been moved on from the company. People do. It sounds like she's actually the person who invented this thing in the first place, and she's been thrown out. So she's probably got this thing in her head, I invented this. I'm the one who should be owning this. I'm the one who should be throwing people away. Yeah, I think she will help Mark.
Yeah, I'm just reading something that Patricia Arquette said. She's the actor who plays Cabell. She added, all the bridges are burned. Cabell has nothing to lose here. She's going to try to use her wiles and come up with some strategy and try to manipulate this situation as best she can. But the dangerous thing is that she's got nothing to lose. So she might not help Mark, but she might assist him and use him to get back at Lumen in some way. Part of me wonders what the outside world's view of Lumen is. Whether they look at this company and they like it, or whether they look at this company and the world hates it. Because in one sense, Cabell could just go out to the news outlets and say, look, they stole my idea. I came up with this thing. But then everyone's just going to be like, so who cares? We really don't care. What's the big deal? And we have seen in the past, people are against severed workers. They don't like the severance program, but I don't know if they are specifically anti-Lumen itself.
The thing is, they always want to mitigate any risk to the company, either by doing other extreme matters by like killing someone. So they should have really thought about that.
What, killing her?
Yeah, she has a lot of knowledge about the company that shouldn't really be shared outside of. There could be stuff on that paper or in the designs that shouldn't be made public. She's going to help Mark, and then there's something that she can do that because she knows the ins and out of it, and she's the one who started it in the first place. She should be able to crack it, and maybe she could free all of them eventually. Who knows? If she frees Mark, then she could then go. They could then go to the next person.
Yeah, I'm not sure she cares about the severed workers at all. I think to her they're just cattle.
But by doing that, it hurts Lumen.
Yeah, that would be the only reason. It's not to help them, it's to hit back at Lumen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is not good for Lumen. Okay, let's do this. They can then get out, and then I suppose if they carry their memories from the inside as well as the outside, then they can share their stories and say, well, we were kind of like slaves in there, just working. But yeah, so that was pretty much episode 8.
It was quite a short one, actually. I mean, we looked at the runtime, and it was like 37 minutes long, and it felt even shorter than that. So I'm not saying we didn't need this episode, because there is good information in it, and there was some plot points that happened in it. Also, in the same way, like if you were watching season 2 again, you could skip this episode. Here's the thing about it's interesting that we've managed to get these 2 episodes next to each other, because they are very similar in the fact that they give backstory to 2 characters.
Yeah, context.
Yeah, context to 2 different characters. And I actually wonder if they should have been separated by a sort of like more regular episode. I don't know what they're doing for the last 2 episodes, but I suppose the previous episode wouldn't have helped much either. But it feels like, I mean, this episode had the similar title scenario as the Ortbo episode, where it didn't have a title sequence. It just had Severance and a small piano, just a single bar, I think. So they're trying to evoke the same sort of difference that episode was to a normal episode. But that episode was a lot more important because a lot of story things happened, whereas in this one it feels more about filling in context and backstory. And the only thing that really happens of note is finding the papers and Devon, telling her about Mark. So, but I feel like between this episode and the last episode, you almost feel like we needed some, like, I feel like I'm missing Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm missing Dylan. I'm missing Helly. We've seen a lot of Mark, and we got a smidgen of Milchek, but like I'm missing the main characters. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. But then between what happened with Mark in the previous 2 episodes, I don't know how you could have had anything happen. I feel like Mark can't go back to Severance without them having a solid plan of how they're doing a final overthrowing sort of thing. Like they've got to get Mark in there, and they've got to get the other guys on board to doing a final revolution. But the thing I have is that, I mean, I already know there's a season 3, and it doesn't feel like this story is wrapping up anytime soon. And I wanted it to be a 2-season story arc. I wanted them to finish it. And yeah, it'll be nice to see the characters for a 3rd season, and, I'm sure we'll all enjoy it. But I mean, sometimes good TV can happen in less seasons, but I mean, it's like Ted Lasso. I mean, they are doing a 4th season of it, and they're doing that because Apple parked a truckload of money outside different, I can't remember his name, but you can't turn down the money that Apple Studios are offering these people when when these shows are becoming such a big hit. So I really wanted season 2 to finish the story, but it really doesn't feel like, not in 2 episodes. I don't feel like it. I feel like there's got to be a lot more happening. Sorry if I ruined it, the fact that there will be a season 3, but I mean,
wow,
we're
gonna get a cliffhanger there.
Yeah, it is something that they released to the press that it's been confirmed for a 3rd season. So it's like the fact that they made it public knowledge before the end of season 2, I find frankly quite frustrating. That does kind of spoil things in the sense that they're not ending it. But are you enjoying Severance season 2? I'm
enjoying it. It's pretty much the same as season 1, really.
Really?
You don't really get... Yeah, because it's a bit like the X-Files, where the X-Files, is a perfect example where like the first 2-3 seasons were pretty good, pretty decent, but then it just kept going on and on, and you don't get any closures. And then when you think you've got a closure, they come out again and say, no, that wasn't the closure. This is the closure. And they went on for like 12 seasons. So we don't, yeah, like you say,
But I thought X-Files was a monster of the week sort of thing, whereas Severance is clearly a story arc over a few series.
There is monsters of the week, but there's an overarching premise of government intelligence know about aliens and they're keeping it from us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So there's like, yeah, it's just a perfect example where a few seasons are good and then it just goes on forever when it doesn't really need to, because it's basically giving you good stories, but never really any closures. And I would hate for this show to end up being like that, where it seems like the first season was good and this one's good, but then hopefully they're not going to keep dragging it out. Say like they do season 3 and then season 3 does really well.
They're clearly going towards something. It's just how long they take to get there.
You know what they should do? Do a season 3 and then just do a movie, and then that's the end. Do like an hour and 52-minute movie.
I mean, it's streaming. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from doing that anyway, regardless. Quite often you see that with TV shows that are on streaming, is that the last episode might be 40 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I think Ted Lasso was like that. It's like half-hour episodes, but then season 3, all of them were creeping longer and longer and longer.
Well, they used to do that back in the day, with a new show, or like you say, end of a season where they have like a part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, it's more the fact that you don't need to do part 1 and part 2, because on streaming you don't have hour-long breaks to kind of consider. It's just you can make the TV show episode as long as you like. You're not restricted to a 23-minute sitcom. You can do a half hour, you can do a 37-minute, you can do an hour. It's completely up to the director for each episode. And we've seen that with Severance. Like we've had 50-minute episodes, we've had 37-minute episodes. Like it's good because they're not stretching out, they're not putting fluff in to fill the episode time, but they've got the space to tell all the story they need to per episode when they want to. What I don't want is for there to be 4 seasons, 5 seasons, 6 seasons. Like I want to see that's the thing. I want to see Mark's story have closure. Like you could have spin-offs. We'd have Harmony at Lumen, 20 years ago as she's coming up with this sort of thing. That would be fine. But Mark's story needs to have a 3-season arc. I really don't want it to go on longer than that.
I'm still of the belief that the creators, there's some sort of style that they've put together to create this show, and I don't think they're going to do. Hopefully they don't think about creating like a spin-off shows. Like a lot of people sometimes like the spin-off shows, but for me, I'm just like, I don't really enjoy any of the inferior version to the main show.
Well, the thing about spin-offs is that you get to enjoy the style and the characters, but it's not essential viewing if you don't like it.
Or they do a prequel where they recast the characters, but they're like a younger version of them. Like they're doing that currently with Dexter. Like I say, if there's a story to tell, then yeah, go ahead and make as much as you want. But if there's no story, then it will eventually get found out, because people will be like, what am I watching? This is just crap. This is nothing. But we're not at that stage yet. There's like
no.
There's loads of things in Severance where you're just like, I still don't understand.
And like I said, like every episode they answer questions, but then they open up more new questions. So
yeah, and that's also a worry where it's like a lot of people might be turned off because it's like, I don't really understand any of this. They're not answering it, like giving you any closures. It's all asking questions. But like you said, like the last 2 episodes, they kind of like gave you some context of some of the characters that they've been showing. So it's good to see that. And it's good to see that Gemma, we've been told that she isn't dead, and we've seen her.
Oh, so okay, that's just reminded me of something. So she's not a clone. Gemma is not cloned. Like this is actually her. She's obviously just been medically saved in some way. And also, I think we can deduce from a few things in the last few episodes. Miss Huang, the child.
Okay.
And we were is she is she a clone? Is she an adult brain in a child's body? No conspiracy here. She is literally a child, forced labour, because that's what they had. Like, Harmony went to this girls' school, and they used children to do work for them. And there's something Milchek said to Miss Huang. It's like, if you're going to complete your studies or something, I've got to do, like, he's got to pass it. So I think there's enough clues now in the few episodes that we've had that we can say that actually no, there's nothing weird going on medically or scientifically. Lumen are just a really horrible, horrific company. Exploitative, that's the word.
Yeah, well, definitely with Gemma. But they could turn around and say, well, you'd rather be dead than doing what you're doing now, I suppose. Because we brought you back to life using our expert medical doctors, whoever.
And, what is the cost of one life? $20 million? That'll only take you 10 years to repay.
Maybe. It'll be definitely fun to watch the last 2 episodes. Definitely going to go in with lower expectations, though, because, like you say, you just said there's a season 3, so there's going to be
There'll be good episodes, but not expecting...
It's going to be a cliffhanger.
Not expecting much closure.
No. It's just going to be like, oh, I wonder if they did it or not, and then we wait 4 or 5 years from now, like in the first season.
The news came out because they have already started pre-production, so the wait between season 2 and 3 shouldn't be as long as between season 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I suppose, yeah. You know what they should have done? They should have just shot it back to back.
They did that with Slow Horses. They did season 1 and 2 back to back. I mean, there are only 6 episodes per season, so it's not a lot to do compared to Severance. But... yeah, some do.
And they could have gave it like 6 months and then released season 3 instead of waiting 6 months and then waiting a few months and then releasing it.
Well, you got to space them all out between your other shows. I mean, Silo season 2's just ended, and then there'll be another show coming out when this finishes.
Kind of intrigued what the next episode will be, but I got a feeling it's just going to be... It'd be funny if it was just like another one of these episodes where it's just a load of context.
No, I feel like the penultimate episode and the final episode, they should be quite strong.
One question I do have is, do you watch like the after show thing they do?
No, we don't.
Nor do I.
We started to watch the first one, but some of the way that they were talking could have led to spoilers about later episodes.
Oh, okay. Forget that then.
Do you remember what I was saying in the first episode when we were talking about people coming up with conspiracy theories about what's going on? And I'm quite happy to hear conspiracy theories from fans based purely on what's been released in the episode. But for actors who know how the show ends, they could say a sentence in a particular way that suggests something. I mean, even that quote that I said from Patricia Arquette later, it is sort of in that sort of vague vein where it doesn't actually say anything, but you could definitely read into it and try to work out what's going on compared to what you've seen on screen before. And that quote can make you change your mind with what you expect is going to happen versus if you hadn't have seen that quote. So I try to ignore the actor and production crew stuff because, I just feel like there is the potential for accidental and biased quotes and things that they might say that might slip what's going to happen later, because I don't want to know, but I'm quite happy to guess and know if I'm right or wrong about it, if that makes sense. So
yeah, that kind of happened. I was watching one of these chat shows, the American chat shows, and they had the guy from Squid Games, and they had like these 2 buzzers in front of them, a yes or a no, and he was basically asking him questions about Squid Games, and he had to say yes or no. And he asked him, are you going to be the new front man? And he basically put both hands on the buzzers, yes and no. So he didn't give an answer. I was like, oh, no. It's like you say, like that gives you like a hint. Potentially that could be the story. Who knows? So I was like, why did you ask that stupid question? Why spoil it for everyone? Like,
because they want to generate the buzz. I mean, they're in the biz, aren't they?
They want the viewers. It's like, oh, it could be this. Hope it's not. But I haven't watched any of them. But yeah, if you're saying there's like people talking and it's like they're giving their perception on the characters and stuff, it kind of like, it's like, well, I didn't think of it like that. like you say, yeah.
There is some scripted content on the Apple TV YouTube channel that I have
Oh, okay.
watched. It's like Milchek and Miss Wong in character. Like one of them was like an induction to season 2. Well, it wasn't an induction to season 2. It is an induction to the Severed Floor. So they are in universe, and there's absolutely zero spoiler. There's zero story spoilers in them, other than the fact that those characters are there. So you can watch those, and those are fine because they've been written specifically. But when actors and producers are talking off the cuff, that's when I'm just like, no, let's avoid that.
Sure. Well, there you go. Yeah, we have to wait and see them.